Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about my app Asha, which I created only for women who are struggling with hair loss and are looking to seek community and comfort among each other. So the mission for this product is to have a safe space for women who are struggling with hair loss to seek advice, support, and community through each other. So to create that safe space for women who cannot find it elsewhere or have done research or gone through the hurdles of realizing their sorrows and like the struggles that they're going through. So this is like a one-stop shop for women where they can all come together and share. So the inspirations that really helped me get started on this project is, of course, like family, and it's very personal, and it's something that directly affects me. So hair loss is something that runs in my family hereditarily, and like these issues when that are taboo in other cultures and not talked about, it becomes difficult for other people to open up, and they become helpless, or they don't have that way of the perfect way of, sorry, not perfect, but like a healthy way of coping. And so since thick hair is considered a beauty standard in the South Asian community, it was difficult for me to come out of that shell of like understanding that this is a normal thing, and just because I come from a society and culture that demeans it or has looks down upon it, it doesn't mean that I'm not beautiful in my way. And so I really wanted to create an app that was niche and focused on an issue that is also personal to me. So the app that I'm also seeking inspiration from is the Circles app, which is an app that I do use, and it's a group therapy app. And so there are sessions online and you can chat with people. And so I realized, like, if there is a group therapy app like this, there's I'm sure it could be a group therapy app that is very niche to one issue itself. And so that's what I wanted to create. And here's a quote that I got from a dermatologist from the Harvard Medical School, who is a researcher at Harvard Medical School. She said, "I can tell you, hair loss is not something that necessarily takes lives. It is not life-threatening, but it is life-altering." Which is where I really want to highlight mental health and how mental health can be really affected through a large like issue like this. And so that's my highlight. So the rationale that I am trying to show, or like the uniqueness, is that there are no current platforms that exist that are curated especially for women with hair loss of any kind, or that have like a correlation to mental health. So that's really what I wanted to do here. And as I mentioned earlier, like why this will be beneficial to me is that my family and my genetics are, it's a part of me and it directly affects me. And so I've done a bunch of research, gone on like different platforms here and there to really understand, like, or feel not alone, that there are other people going through the same thing. I compare myself a lot. I see other people's hair, their scalp, and I want that. And so those are like very unhealthy ways of coping with it. So wouldn't it be nice to have that one singular platform where everyone can come together, discuss such challenges, and also empower each other simultaneously? That's really what I wanted to do here. So the unique positioning for this project is that this will again be a platform only for women, and also have that emphasis on mental health, and where they can seek support, advice, and community as well. And so most of the platforms right now that are curated for hair loss is very male focused, and they focus on men and male pattern balding, when women pattern balding is just as important, and it's not considered a significant topic and not openly discussed. And that's what I really want to do here. So I don't want women to feel alone and while they're struggling with hair loss. So I want this app to provide a community and also promote therapeutic conversation in the presence of an expert mental health mediator, which would mean it would be like a psychologist or a psychiatrist therapist who will be a part of these group sessions. And the expert that I consulted is from Nashville, Tennessee. She does makeup and hair for talk shows and TV. And so I really like, this was something that came out of the blue, because I realized she's also in like a organization that focuses on women's hair loss and hair health. And so I was really drawn to her, and I talked to her, and she really provided, opened my eyes about like certain like issues that really aren't talked about, especially in the world of hair loss. And so the quote that really stood out to me while I was talking to her was that the freedom to express negative feelings and to identify with one another helps participants realize that they're not alone in their struggle with hair loss. They can experience a sense of emotional relief from the support of others. So the competitors that I'm looking at right now, as I spoke about, are Circles, the app Peanut, and Sesh. So Peanut is an app that is mainly for women, and it focuses on motherhood and them to connect through that. So I see that as a competitor because it is a woman only app. Sesh is also a group therapy app, so it's like focused on mental health. So in a way, I'm seeking inspiration from all of them as well. And as you can see in my competitive analysis here, Asha really fulfills all the needs that I'm looking to fulfill in this app. As I said, it's a woman only app. It really focuses on mental health. It's very niche to hair loss, and it will allow other women to interact with each other through the help of forums or feeds where they can write to each other or discuss, have like, just conversations with each other outside of those group sessions. So there's a motivating factor as well, where there are daily check-ins, mood, just assessments that are given out on a regular basis to just keep in check like the participants that are within the app or groups, especially important for psychiatrists or psychologists who are part of this. And there'll also be video calling on the app, not only for the group sessions, but also outside of the group sessions for women to connect with each other. So the biggest statistic that I kind of got out of my research was that although distressing, that hair loss is distressing, it's generally accepted more in men, and women account for 40% of all hair loss sufferers in the United States, and that is a large amount. And so I really wanted to take this and problem and create a solution. And during my target audience research, I was reading through all these forums on Reddit and Facebook posts and YouTube videos of women just speaking about all these remedies and just guiding women and also helping women feel like they're not alone. But I was reading through all of these forums, and everybody sounded so distressed. Women were in distress because they didn't have that proper help or that proper guidance from doctors or from, like the general research that currently exists on hair loss, especially like very niche hair loss issues like the post-birth control syndrome. And so I really wanted to take this app and help create those categories for women, different categories that they could be experiencing hair loss in, and kind of allow that platform where they don't feel alone. Like it is normalized. It is a problem, but it is normalized. So during my target audience research, I also realized how important support groups are for women and for people in general. During my interviews, I realized like the unhealthy ways of coping really came because they were not seeking the help of a support group. They were without support group. So they were more isolated. They had more pent up negative feelings, unhealthy coping mechanisms. Obviously, there's no community when you are trying to cope with this by yourself. And of course, a very low confidence when you are only looking at yourself in the mirror and judging yourself harshly. So with support groups, those are counteracted. And I really want to focus on that. And I want to do that for women as well. And so my primary audience that I'm focusing on are from the ages of 25 to 55 struggling with a hair loss condition. And my secondary audience is women ages 18 to 30 who are struggling from other issues that cause hair loss, like post-birth control syndrome, stress, anxiety, postpartum, and all of that. And my tertiary audience is mental health professionals. So that would include therapists, psychiatrists, and all of that. So my first persona, for her, it is difficult to openly talk about her hair thinning, and she's been on birth control for a very, very long time, since her teenage years. And after getting off of birth control, she's really been struggling with hair loss, and she doesn't realize where it's coming from. And so after doing a lot of research, she realizes she has post-birth control syndrome, and that there's not a lot of research about it, or it is not even informed when you are getting birth control. So you can imagine how difficult and frustrating it might be when you realize like these are the side effects that you have to undergo after birth control. And so my second one is women who also is looking to give advice on hair loss because she herself has gone through hair loss and struggles with it. She has hereditary hair loss and she feels it's hard to really open up to her friends because she doesn't want it to be a pity party. And so she wants a platform where she can also share her struggles, but also provide empowerment for women by giving them advice or remedies that have really worked for her. So the last persona that I have wants to also provide help for women, and she wants to provide that safe space for women to really open up and wants to lead conversations because she's a psychiatrist herself and also has dealt with alopecia and helped patients who have dealt with hair loss due to other conditions like stress, anxiety, etc. So the first user story, as I mentioned earlier, she's going through post birth control syndrome and is seeking guidance. My second story, she is looking to give guidance and give advice as she has gone through hair loss herself and still to this day struggles with it. My third user story, for her, she also wants to give advice and provide a therapeutic promote like a healthy therapeutic conversation among women so they can tackle their struggles together and also provide healthy coping mechanisms and, combat those beauty standards help that allow women to have a low self-esteem. So the first user flow for my first persona is that she taps on the discovery icon to find other women with similar issues. She's discovering and looking at all these groups that currently exist and forums. She finally finds a group, she taps on it. She realizes that the meeting starts in 10 minutes and she really wants to give this a try. So she taps on start meeting, she joins the Zoom meeting, and then lastly, she creates her first post on the group forum. The second persona, she really wants to give advice. And so what she does is also go on the discovery icon. It's her first time. She's discovering different groups and looking at what people talk about, women talk about. And so she finds a forum she's interested in. She taps on it. She begins commenting on other women's discussions to help her first couple of comments. And then she taps on the plus sign to create her own forum page. And after she creates her first page, she posts her first advice on her forum page. The third user flow, Jessie Raymond, her task is to assign short tasks and also lead the session. So she taps on the group icon and taps on the group that she's meeting with in 10 minutes. And then she taps on evaluation and checks all the participants' mood check-in forums. And after reviewing all the forums, they tap on start meeting. And after the meeting, they tap on create a new form, and they create a new form for the participants according to today's meeting. And then they start posting on it. And so the mood board that I have currently is very calm, very soothing textures that remind you of hair or just like, a smooth textures that calm you down or like have that calming effect on you. And so that's how I went with my color palette as well. And so I'm really focusing on the calming effect. These are the UIs that I'm focusing on or like getting inspiration from while I create this app. And these are my citations. Thank you.